Hey, good morning, everybody. This is Chris Feliciano here from Hawaii with BNFX. Just doing a kind of a weekly wrap of my trading and also what were some of the key events for last week. The good thing about doing this is it kind of sets up your focus for the next week here. So first, just to share with you my results was ultimately, that's the bottom line. We had a pretty good week last week. We had a 2.53% gain. So month to date, we are up 1.53%. So a little bit of drawdown to start the month, but made a nice little comeback here. And we do have a few trades still going. So that's kind of what it looks like for me personally on my account. Kind of getting into the highlights for the week. Just by currency, the dollar. Disappointing market PMIs with housing and core durables. The trade war really dominated the headlines for the week. There was just back and forth with Beijing and Washington. The FOMC minutes did come out on Wednesday, and it was mildly support for the dollar, but a more prolonged period of patience was conveyed rather than really any real statement of ease. So I would say the FOMC was more neutral. So the dollar was pretty strong at the beginning of the week, but it kind of tapered off at the end here. So going at the end of Friday, the dollar was weak. So that's something to keep an eye on. The pound, Brexit was a major driver with ongoing weakness as the pressure mounted for Prime Minister May. She did finally cave in to demands to name her departure date at the 9/22 bench meeting. And she did announce on Friday that June 7th would officially be her final day in office. And the race to replace her is going to start the following week. It was interesting. The pound was sold off for most of the week, but at the end, that announcement actually did give the pound some strength. And there was some data beats too. So, I've been talking about this for a while. I think the pound is fundamentally strong. Brexit is really what's holding it back, and the uncertainty of what direction they're going to take it. There's talk of a no-deal Brexit, but if you guys remember, they voted on this. I think it was about a month ago that a no-deal Brexit would not be something they were interested in. So the majority of Parliament, I don't think will let a no Brexit happen. So I think the pound is a good opportunity to buy, and that's my opinion, but. I had a couple trades at the end of the week that really, capitalized on that and got me in profit. The euro, poor Eurozone PMIs, downbeat German IFO survey. ECB minutes was pessimistic on inflation. That, quote unquote, was uncomfortably below target. So euro still fairly weak. Canadian dollar was kind of a roller coaster ride with fluctuating, U.S.-China trade headlines and geo factors with Iran. The Canadian data was mostly upbeat. Retail sales was fantastic. But the expectation is that the Bank of Canada is going to stand pat, and there's not going to be a rate hike next week. So fundamentally strong, but we're not expecting a hike. So I don't think we're going to see a cut either. So, the Canadian dollar to me is still pretty good value right now. Australian dollar, everyone's, it's all signaling a rate cut at the June policy meeting, and Westpac is now calling for 3 cuts before the end of the year, before 2, as opposed to 2 previously. So Aussie is a good one to sell. Kiwi, nothing really, and then the Swiss franc and the Japanese yen were bid for most of the week on safe haven bids. In terms of data for each of those, not a heck of a lot. Just really the China-U.S. trade tensions drove that. So that will be posted in the room if you guys want to reference that, but it kind of gives you a foundation of what to expect for the following week. And Jerry is going to cover kind of what the events are for the next week. Trades I'm still in. Yen, Swiss yen short, I'm still in. So, if you see this area of confluence here and it kind of bounced off of that. So I'm still holding short for this 108 level on that. The U.S. Canadian dollar, I've got 3 positions in this. So, it kind of got chopped, and this level seems to be really, really strong. So there were some developments today with Iran in the U.S., or excuse me, late Friday. So I have a feeling the Canadian dollar is going to get a little stronger here just on oil demand. Pound Aussie. So it was interesting. I got into two positions here with the pound Aussie and the pound Swiss franc. Pound Swiss franc, I'll show you first, and you can see what happens. So spiked, it came down to this level here. I got into two positions, took it out here, and it went down again, got in again, went back up, took profit. So I ended up getting like a 2% gain on just this trade right here. So the Aussie didn't really do that. I held this overnight. It actually went below the 100% level, so that's why you want to give it an emergency stop, because fundamentally the Australian dollar is super weak, but there's positioning going on over here. So this level, as you can see, is still my level. I want to see how the week starts, but that could be something I'm interested in maybe building if it starts going my way. As you can see, my risk is really, really low on that. And then the final one, I know Jerry and the boys are trading this one, and that's the Aussie CAD. So the Aussie CAD's kind of acting erratically. We thought it was going to bounce off this level and go down, but it's starting to bounce up a little bit more. I would say this level right here could be a really good level at 93.67 to enter short. But also, even a little bit before that, this 93.20, 93.30, you can see there's some lows on the one day chart that could be a nice level to kind of dig into. So going into Monday, Tuesday, that's something I might be interested in getting into. But I know Jerry and them are trading it. And once again, when you look at the sentiment, it really makes sense. So I think, large guys are, positioning in here, and they're taking out all that liquidity that they knew was up higher. So that's where you saw that spike up. So that's kind of how we have all for the week here. So for the month, I'd say the trading room's doing very, very well. And, if you're not a member with us, we look forward to, having you with us. I mean, like I said, we show our trades before, during, and after. And, we man the trading room during the day for London and New York. So any questions that you guys have as you're doing your trades, you have guys that are happy to help you and answer. And, it's pretty good, and we've had some great profits from some of our members so far too. So thanks, guys. Well, hey, thanks for joining. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week.